trying to go over my helmet?
Spaceballs.
Great. Thank you. Great film. Not there.
That's where that's where people don't realize, but everything is done in Tesla, like the plaid edition, the way the rocket shaped.
Remember they said Spaceball 1 has gone plaid?
Yeah.
Duh.
So that's all his.
Yeah.
He's doing everything through Spaceballs.
Yeah, we don't break for anybody.
I wonder what Elon Musk would feel about this article. I bet no one's ever asked him this, but I bet he would have strong opinions on this.
This, to me, feels like a deliberate distraction. And first of all, you and I have spoken many times on China surveillance.
Right.
And they just launched a crack load of new satellites to watch people.
Yeah, we did an episode on that.
So why is it now, what would be the most logical path for why China wants to set tougher rules on tech companies? I don't understand.
Why does the government want to? It sounds so good. The name of the Personal Information Protection Law.
You want to know why?
We're going to protect you as an individual.
I'll
The government's saying that. The Chinese government saying to Chinese citizens, we're going to protect you and your data.
That's crap. And I'll tell you why. They realize that private business can grow at a much faster rate than they can. And they know that information, tracking of their citizens, everything about their life is the most powerful tool for control that they have. Okay? China's not a free society by any means.
And Russia,
they'll tell you
South
that.
America.
You can go to China.
Well,
the
United
government.
States is trying to get data. Canada. This is all the global.
But why is it that China, the government, would want to fine the largest tech companies they have?
Alibaba, yeah.
Why would they do that? Because they don't want them to have control. That's the issue. Their own institutions underneath them, because of Western capitalism, is actually a threat to the nationalistic, communism model that China's running. China's like, we're going to fine you for all this stuff on users. You can't do that to the users. Why? Because only the government's allowed to do it.
Well, what's so funny is big tech's just collecting. So here's the difference between the two. I think this is really important for people to understand.
Big tech wants to make money.
So big tech wants to make money, and they're taking it to market, and they want to get as much GPS location data and all that stuff about you, so they can market to you perfectly, so you'll buy more shit.
That's all it is.
I would doubt Jack Ma and all them are nefarious.
No, one's commodification, the other one's control.
Yeah, so then you have the government with these personal information protection law. The Chinese, I mean, you have a China Central Television. That tells you right there.
The Central Television wants to protect me. That does it. You gotta. You just look at this, and it's a fallacy. It's so contradictory. This entire thing. The only reason they want to find their big tech firms is because they don't want them to have control. And
if China was such a great country, they pretty much own North Korea.
China,
they would come in and help them out.
Yeah, they would actually.
You wouldn't have starving people.
There wouldn't be
getting shot all the time and blown up with mines.
And why is China's actually having an issue right now with people leaving the rural areas?
Yes.
The second they get a taste of city life, they're like, "I'm not going back there.
No,
I'm not going to farm anymore." Then the Chinese government has to step in and then subsidize the farmers, and then you got to bring all this food in. And you got scarcity. It's a mess. It's an absolute mess. But you have to understand, they're not in the business. They're not in the business of the citizens' benefit.
No.
China's in the business for China's benefit.
To be a superpower of the world.
That's all it is. And guess what? They are, in fact, a superpower. They are very, very powerful. Very powerful. But you have to understand that when somebody says they're trying to put out a law for your benefit, no. It is for China's benefit. China has a credit scoring system on every single one of the citizens in the cities. Every single one of those citizens that is put into their systems, they are tracking you.
And they're surveilled.
They know who you talk to. They know how people feel about you, and they use that information against you. So think about, how is it that people would react, okay, if someone puts in a mechanism for control like that? Nobody's really acting how they truly are, because you're just trying to put on a facade so that the government doesn't lock you up. That's all you're going to do, right? And it's going to force people to take other more perverse ways to go around these control mechanisms.
Well, this is with Fortune.com, this article. So this
Fortune is paid.
Yeah.
That's a paid to post.
Yeah. So, but I mean, this is Fortune.com article. This is some crack article. I want you to listen to this comment. Whoever wrote this did a good job. It says the nation's legislature passed a related law in June that gave the power to shut. Notice that they use the word shut, to shut or fine tech companies that stood in the way of the president's efforts to control vast reams of data they built.
Listen, the government can come in and shut down against somebody else's free will. We're going to shut you off.
I mean, how many Chinese billionaires have gone missing?
No, I know. How many regular citizens have gone missing in China?
Yes.
How many Buddhists have gone missing in China?
Oh, yeah.
Listen, if you standing in the way, are you serious? Standing in the way of whose choice? One person decides for all?
But like you said earlier, of his efforts, this is the president, of his efforts to control vast reams of data they build.
He wants to control. He is the national identity of China. The government just wants control. This is not an article to talk about benefits. This is a way for them to continue to nationalize more information.
Well, here's the scary part to me on this next statement. The moves come as some U.S. lawmakers call for breaking up internet titans like Facebook, Inc. and Alphabet, Inc. And as European regulations prioritize antitrust actions and giving users more control over data. So,
oh my gosh, you don't break them up. I'm just going to use a historical example here for everybody that's not paying attention. What happens when you break up Standard Oil? Rockefeller became more rich, more powerful. Mm-hmm. You just decentralized all the shell companies. It didn't help. You don't come in with the government and strong arm companies into doing something. They will find every other avenue with all their fantastic lawyers and far more resources, and they can move 10 times faster than the government can.
Yes.
They will just adapt to something else. You need to meet them where they are, and you need to bring them a new option. You cannot strong arm them and turn them into something they're not.
But what I'm afraid of, if China is successful in this and passes these personal information acts,
it's going to lead as an example for everyone else to take.
So all these other countries, because we're not just bashing on China, whether it's European Union or whether it's the
like
US.
I said, China's just brash enough to be public about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they don't give two shits.
No, they don't. Not at all.
Yeah, but this is in effect September the 1st. So the Chinese government's already passed this. This is the world's second largest economy. And they say China is the leader in big data.
It is the leader. They collect more information on their citizens than anyone else. So it's easy, right? If I got 1 billion people and I'm tracking all of them, I'm already the winner in big data. Hands down.
So if you can get a step up on big data and you have total control of big data in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years from now,
China knows the future. Let's think about a scenario.
Oh, shit.
Let's consider this. Elon Musk is doing the wetware implant.
Right.
Think about that. Okay. So all that information's on his servers, processing it through whatever Tesla algorithm, or I don't know what the hell they're going to use. Yeah. And then say, for instance, the government comes in and says, you know what? We're going to nationalize that data. The government now owns your thoughts. How would you feel about that? I took the step, I got the wetware, I'm all cushy, I feel good, like doing all this other stuff, I'm futuristic. And the government say, yeah, we're going to shut this monopoly down. All that information that Tesla has, we're going to control that.
Yeah, I would rather Tesla have my information than the US government. Yeah.
And then what happens when the wetware gets into China?
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, this is super cool. They're doing it in the West, so why don't we do it over here?
Or they hack.
And then guess what? Your whole brain, which has been uplinked to a server, that server is completely owned by your government. Now they're actually tracking brainwave patterns on you.
What if like Russia puts malware in those, just causes people to start just going fucking crazy?
Just shorting out.
They're just like going off, like in the middle of the supermarket. They're like a Karen.
Yeah, and Putin's like, you know something? This is why we didn't do wetware over here.
Putin's 132.
Yeah,
he's still like
Putin's 200 years old, still weightlifting and smoking a cigar.
Yeah.
Like my
Riding
gosh.
horses.
But this is the point. I mean, guys, the reason Jason and I do this data news is to filter through the bullshit for you. Mm-hmm. Just look at where you're getting scammed. If you look at the areas where people are taking away your free will and your choice, stay away from it. Mm-hmm. It's so obvious. And we talk about China so much because they're the leading example of taking away power from citizens.
Yeah, and people don't realize this is. I want to use this analogy. When you have government and big tech, if you're in Indonesia and people don't realize how big tigers are, they're huge. They're like almost the size of a bear.
They're very,
so
they're very
they're
large.
a lot bigger than I think. Are they bigger than a lion? I think they are.
Tigers are monstrous.
Yeah.
Lions don't get that big.
Yeah, and so if you have 2 male tigers, and you happen to you go around a corner and you see 2 male tigers fighting each other,
I'm gonna turn around.
If you say, let me get my phone out and let me get closer,
Yeah.
those tigers will stop fighting
And go for you.
and go for you.
Oh, this is weaker. We can both share in this.
So just because big tech and government, they're both tigers.
They're both.
And
yeah.
because they look like they're fighting, don't think that they're one for you because they're a tiger, period.
No.
They're all about taking things away with force.
I'll give an example in the U.S., and this is where the U.S. falls short too. Our defense sector, obviously phenomenal. Lockheed Martin shows up. They're doing cool stuff. They're an engineering firm, doing some consulting. We'll do this work, blah, 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 blah. Government's like, why don't you come work for us full time?
Yeah.
Oh, when are you get in the Skunk Works program? Then you can't get out of it. You're wrapped in.
Well, there's billions of dollars coming to you.
Yeah.
What
so
are you
you're
going
like,
to
I'll
do?
stay. Yeah. But what happens when Alibaba's pressured to give up all this stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. First of all, they'll leave. They're like, we're going to put our servers somewhere else. And then China's going to say, well, it's still on Chinese citizens.
Yes.
Then you're going to have a cross-border issue. Then this whole thing's going to blow up because everybody wants control. There's only one way to solve it. One simple solve. People are in full, complete, and total control of their information. And it's so encrypted, so decentralized, no government can touch it. They can't look at it unless somebody actively chooses through their own consent to share it. There's only one place in the world to do that, and that's tartle.co.
Yeah, you can sell your data to whoever.
Yeah. If you want to sell it to China, be my guest.
Yeah.
If you don't, don't.
So we want to sell it to, if Alibaba wants to be a buyer and buy data and you guys want to sell your data to them, go right ahead.
But we're going to stand up against strong arming.
Yes.
And honestly, I don't hate big tech. I don't at all.
No.
They just need a better option.
Yeah, I think it's just, well, we've talked about this before. It's just the way that this perpetual ROI or perpetual have to make capital. That's the only reason. We're going to do another show, and the next show is going to be about Facebook.
Do not look at human beings as a commodity, because you're not looking at them as, they're not people to you anymore. They're numbers. Don't let the world turn you into a number in the IRS. Don't let it happen. We're all so unique, so beautiful, so individualistic, but we are also so collaborative. We can be so understanding. We can be so resourceful. Don't squander that.
So whatever country you're a part of, whatever citizen you are, how can you take control of your data?
You can take control of your data by going to tartle.co, getting started, signing up, telling your friends and family to sign up. Start to link all the accounts you use. Start to populate data packets saying that this is my asset. My thoughts, my actions are under my control and my control only. And I know that Tartle can't look at it. I know that Tartle can't move it without my permission. Nothing. This is my key to my bank, and nobody's going to tell me what to do with it. I'm going to move it on my time, my day, my life.
Love that.
Thanks.